The deluxe
Yeah.
is just 2 albums. Like I get that. But like generally speaking, what do you say of like the trend of like, the Migos record is 90 minutes, the Drake record is 90 minutes, the Kanye record is 90 minutes. And and Donda ranked pretty high on your, year-end list and everything. Like,
Yeah, but everyone's not Kanye.
no,
You everyone
that's
can't,
true. That's true. But like, obviously there's going to be exceptions. But like for you generally, like outside of the deluxe album realm, like what is too long for a record?
usually once you pass an hour, honestly. I mean, realistically speaking, 45 minutes is that like sweet spot.
Right.
An hour kind of pushing it, but you can justify it if majority of the songs are great or good, somewhat passable. But once you like break past an hour, we're entering like feature film length. And at this point, it's almost like, people go out of their house to watch a big screen to waste this amount of time. Like you're making me do this with an album. Like in most of the time, those albums that are that long can never justify their length. You would have been better off cutting it at 7 tracks, dropping a little EP, marketing it as something that you didn't really try for. But like for Drake, for example, I don't know what he's doing. It's been this way since 2016. Hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. Like, bro, if I want to watch a movie or I want to see something, I'm gonna leave. And I try to like bring myself back and understand that to some extent, and for some artists, it's more of like okay, let's see how much money we can get. Let's increase or boost streams or whatever. Or let's put enough songs on this because we want to please our label or whatever the case is. And so I realize that some people are doing it more of like as like an employer relationship, where if I ask for overtime or if I ask for extra hours, you give it to me. But generally for people who ask for those extra hours, it's not a detriment to the customers. Like the service quality doesn't diminish that severely to where you working extra hours means a negative experience for the person that's buying or paying for whatever product that's in the store. In this regard, you're basically telling me that the extra streams or the extra money that you would get is dependent upon whether or not I listen to it. And you're forcing me to have to put in labor for your benefit, even though the songs are trash, even though the songs are usually not passable. So yeah, that's my biggest point of contention with the whole long album thing, is that it requires too much from the listener and not enough from the person making the music.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways it's like, it's hard to put it in terms that would like prescribe what we should do instead. But I feel like a lot of this is just like a residual from the fact that it hurts to say this as an album reviewer, obviously, but I think in a lot of ways the album format's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, I think like while albums exist, obviously, that's not how most people are experiencing music now. It's like they're just kind of picking their favorite tracks from the records and they're going back to those tracks. And like, if the rest of the record's fucking trash, who cares? It's like Drake puts out a 90-minute album knowing that there are going to be hardcore fans that fuck with like a third of those tracks, a quarter of those tracks, and just listen to those tracks repeatedly over and over and over. That's how you make money doing that shit. But like simultaneously,
go ahead.
Last thing I'll say is, but simultaneously, like, how else are you going to release music to fans to get them engaged with it and get them excited about it other than in a fucking batch? You know what I mean? Because like you can't do a whole rollout for every single goddamn song. People get tired of that. So it's like you just got to kind of throw it all out there in a shotgun blast and just kind of let the audience decide which one of these tracks is actually hot. Like which one are you actually going to listen to over and over? I can't decide that for you.
No, they don't have to do that. They don't have to do that at all. You can just, I don't know. You can just be reasonable. I don't think it's that big of a stretch to be like, yeah, even just studying your demographic. Let me just be like, all right, how old is my audience generally? If they are 20, 30, 35, maybe, the likelihood of them having an hour and a half to spend listening to my music is probably minimal, right? So let's look at our demographic. Let's study who we're making music for and who we're releasing it to. All right, now that we got that understood, let's pick from the absolute necessary records on this album. You know what that is. I don't believe artists just think
do you though?
Everything is that great. You do. You have to.
No, but here's the thing. It's like nobody's looking like specifically like on the Drake record. Nobody's looking for the great track. Everybody's looking for what track is going to go the most viral, what track is going to be the most successful commercially. And when
But
it comes,
isn't that the best track?
no,
To the
no,
main,
no. Like,
to the mainstream.
Are you kidding
To the
me?
mainstream. If we're looking at the mainstream, Way Too Sexy is the best song on Certified Lover Boy. That's the best song. I don't think it's the best song, but
Like,
the streets and the people have decided that this is the one.
like, obviously that's going to be the dumbest, silliest, most easy to appeal track on the record. Yes.
Of course.
Yes. No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
So who cares about the best track? Well, I'm Way Too Sexy. Like, what are you talking about? This is my bread and butter right here. I don't need anything else.
You know, look, I'm saying, like, okay, example, because again, like, you throw tracks out there, you never know what's going to hit. Like, for example, fucking Future, Mask Off. Like, that track didn't drop initially as a single, or like was not pushed initially, but that track ended up being one of his biggest songs ever and the biggest song off that record. But again, that was not like dropped. That was dropped on the same record and was handed to the audience and was just like, bam. Like, whatever you fucking vibe to off this LP is what you vibe to. And Mask Off was just the track, lo and behold, that everybody just uniformly decided, this is the hottest shit. This is it. This is what we want.
It doesn't matter, though, because Future is Future. Not everyone's Future. It's the same argument. Future can do that.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, yeah, Future is Future. That's true. But there are dozens of artists who are currently at his level in the industry that are dropping albums roughly the same way. Like, we're just gonna
on Future's level, basically.
Migos. That's how Migos drops fucking records. Like,
but no one cares about Migos the same way they care about Future. People
don't care about Migos.
I'm not saying they don't care about Migos. I'm saying not at the same level. If Future and Migos drop the same day, Migos sales are dropping. I mean,
like, are you talking about in a general sense? Because, like, I'm sure there are people out there who would say, like, No Label 2 era, Migos, and so on. So it's like pretty fucking essential.
I mean today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, generally today. But the thing is, like, you know, just as, you know, sure, like, in terms of a run and impact on the industry, you could say that, like, Future has had, you know, a longer carear and, like,
legend.
You know,
he's a legend.
Much more legend status than Migos.
I need to hear you say
at this point, I think they're both entitled to be like, hey, like, we're going to come up with a bunch of tracks that, you know, we just rip together in studio. Some of them might be hot. Some of them are probably not going to be. Let's just see what flies.
I don't think that anyone needs to do that, though, especially when you have a sound that can be replicated to a point where someone's making Migos type beat on YouTube or this type beat for any particular artist. You know that you're not that unique of an artist, that all your songs have that much difference in style that it's like, oh, you couldn't take maybe 5 or 6 to even 10 off of your album and make it a better experience. They know that. Drake knows that. Future, I have a bit of a softer spot for Future, but there are plenty of artists that are that mainstream that know that. They know what they're doing and they do it anyway. I'm not saying they don't care, but they could care less is what I'm saying, basically.